All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Serious Angler Podcast and another edition of our Seriously Western segment. And a hot one, hot off the presser, U.S. Open champ, which we'll get into obviously here on the show. But as always, we are joined by Idaho's finest, Mr. Adam Deacon. What's going on, brother?
Man, nothing too much. It's cold. It feels like dang fall. I'm loving it.
Yeah,
And man, just got back from the Delta. Didn't have the finish I wanted there. US Open happened literally right after that. Props to the guys that made the drive either through the night or the day after to rip down over to the US Open because it started right after. I'm impressed. Like, man, 5 or 6 guys from the Super 60 went down there with 0
yeah,
practice because they missed the practice,
yeah,
right? Because our event was going on, and I think there was, like, 5 guys that finished in the top 20. It was, like,
yeah.
uh,
Bryant and
Bryant,
Ty were
Ty,
Tim and Rolla were both top five, I think.
Jim Vetros, like, I mean, yeah, like, there's a good some Austin Bonjour, I think, cashed a good check. Dylan Maxon, like, just yeah, it was impressive to see those guys do that. But, yeah, those 2 top 5 were Bryant and Ty.
Pretty dang wicked, dude. It's cool to see all that. Which is a great time to plug the title sponsor of Seriously Western, that is Amped Outdoors. Having a nice set of lithium batteries makes that kind of trip a lot less stressful, I should say.
Dude,
Making sure you
well,
got
and
power.
not only that, man, I mean, let's just talk lithium batteries on your trolling motor in a place like Mojave with the wind.
Mhm.
When you are scoping like that, Ty called me and had issues with his trolling motor, and it was because of running out of juice, right? Like, and so
Yeah,
you just gotta make sure you have everything locked and loaded, but those lithiums are, in my opinion, in today's world, like, absolutely necessary on your trolling
mhm.
motor and your electronics batteries if you can. I think that's the two priorities that I would really take into account, and our fellows over at Amped are the right guys for the job.
Yeah. Well, and even take the weekend warrior into account too. If you're fishing, say 4 or 5 times a month, and you're buying new Walmart lead acids every year, you go and make a budget of how much those lead acids cost that you're buying on a yearly basis. You buy lithiums to go and use for the next 8 years. It's almost more cost efficient if you're in that bucket of to go lithiums versus having to deal with one, the
Oh,
performance of the lead acid, but then two, constantly having to swap them out and
they're not
year
light.
after year and taking care of them. Yeah.
No, man, and this is real from my travels. I've been ripping, man, on the road,
Hmm.
and I went straight from the Delta once I found out that I made the championship. Clear Lake, I believe, goes off limits today for the Super 60 guys for the championship. I jumped on it for just a day and a half on my way back to Idaho, and I had my boat parked in a spot where there was no ability to charge it. Right,
Yeah.
so I had, was like kind of a little worried about it. Like, okay, I might, I might run out of juice at some point, you know? So, best part about having a high technology battery, being able to check it, right? So,
Bluetooth
literally,
app. Yeah.
my buddy Chad and we parked my boat way up the hill. I was like, man, I'm just going to go up and look and see if we got to figure out a way to get it charged with a generator or what we got to do. Went up the hill after a day of fishing, trolling motor batteries, 90%. Electronics battery was 50%. So I was like, sick. I'll be fine tomorrow.
We're good.
We don't need to figure this out. Uh,
Yeah.
so, so to your point with the weekend angler type stuff, something that I really love to do is go on a weekend trip to some of these more remote fisheries in Idaho where there's not a plug-in at all. There's no campsites that are electric, etc. I don't have to worry about bringing a generator for a 2-day trip, potentially a 3-day trip, depending on
Yeah.
how your usage is. And so it's like you can go camp, live in the boonies for a day or two, and not worry about being able to do the things you want to do on the water.
Yeah. And we gotta worry about gas. Just make sure you got gas in it, and you'll be all right.
Make sure you got gas, and
Yeah.
the satellite texting on our iPhones is pretty
Yeah.
handy for these remote places.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bluetooth app definitely makes things a lot easier being able to monitor that. I say that out of laziness too, where it's like, do I really need to charge my batteries for tomorrow? I'm good enough. We'll be all right. Exactly
That's
what you're saying. Or it's just like,
literally what I did, right? It was like
yeah,
my boat was parked a good walk away from Chad's house. And he's like, well, I have a generator. We could like plug it in. And I'm like, well, let's just go look first, you know? And it was like, we're good.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Love it, man. But
But dude, what have you been up to?
so we had our last derb the first week in October. So that was last weekend. That was our New York Invitational. So we had that. That went well. And I've been so freaking ate up with bow hunting, dude. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
got the bug, man, where it's one I haven't fished since the Invitational, which I usually get out typically 2, 3 times a week. Otherwise, but it's been opening day bow season here since October 1st. It's the 12th now. I think I've been out 7 times. And go figure. I go out opening day on the 1st. And I had to leave. I didn't have to leave. I chose to leave on Thursday the 2nd to go up to get a couple hours of practice in time for this invitational. And wouldn't you know it, a giant that I have never seen before. On the morning I leave, comes 10 yards from the tree and the place I was set up on opening day.
Oh, you
Comes
called
in.
me about this.
Yeah, I was
Really?
you heard me losing my marbles, basically about to turn around and say, screw this tournament. I'm going bow hunting. Thankfully I didn't because he hasn't shown up since and I haven't been figured out a way to get back on him. But
Yeah.
uh yeah, this deer perfect like 8:30 in the morning, comes 10 yards from where I was set up on opening day. And go figure, Moultrie, I get the Moultrie alert, and it's like, of course. Thankfully, we got the win in the invitational, so that kind of made up for not getting a crack at that buck. But last night, though, I did not to turn this into a hunting podcast, but had a
Yeah.
really cool encounter with a big white eight on public land last night, and basically tried to make an approach on a bedding area and pick out a tree because my dad's actually flying up to New York for the first full week of November to come bow hunting with me.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, so I kind of did some scouting for Pops last night and put out some cameras for him. You know, he found a spot on Onyx that he wanted to go hunt and did some scouting for him. And I picked up a tree and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Some nice bedding. And um, the wind had switched on. It was super wonky because it had a bunch of sets of drainages in this spot. And basically it just the wind had flipped on me and I had busted I couldn't see it what it was, but I busted something. One deer, all I could hear, one deer, super heavy deer running out of the bedding, trying to get into the spot. I was like, I'm already back here. Might as well set up anyway. But I'm like, that sucks. Made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it was 30 minutes left of light.
Okay.
And I said, screw it. Let's make another mistake. Let's try this early grunting that I've heard. There's one guy on a podcast says he likes to try grunting in the pre-rut to just some bucks they get curious. And he said it has worked
Totally.
for him.
Yeah.
And so I said, screw it, let's try it. So I try it. Wouldn't you know, 15 minutes later, I'm sitting there. I'm misbehaving. I'm watching the Oregon Ducks college football game as I'm up in the tree. And I look up and I just see, I'm like, my eyes playing tricks on me. Like 20 yards, not 20 yards, 25 yards up is the bedding. And about 20 yards, like right behind this bush coming out of the bedding, I just see rack and him looking downhill. He never looks towards me, but I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, I only got like 15, 20 minutes left to light, legal. And so I have everything ready. Like he walks 3 more yards and I get a perfect 25, 28 yard broadside shot.
Wow.
And I'm just watching the time tick away and the light fade. Dude, this deer doesn't move. Like to a point where I'm sitting there like double, like questioning myself if that
Mhm.
actually is a deer or not because he's not moving at all. And it hits like 7:05. I can barely see. And I just watch him turn around and go back into bedding. So I got stuck up in the tree for a little while and had to take the long ways out
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
sure I didn't bust him again. But uh, it's exciting though. Now the question is, do I hunt that deer or do I save him for Pops? Say, hey, sorry, Dad. Killed the deer that I found for you. But
Yeah.
really good looking 8 point is a great deer for New York public land anyway. But it's been exciting. It's the first good encounter anyway this year.
Heck yeah, dude. No, I love that. They're curious, man. I've heard the same thing, like just listening, same deal for me on in podcasts, both with elk and deer. Like you can be
Yeah.
pre pre rut sometimes, but like, that instinct's like I know it's not quite time yet to that deer, but they're like, I got to go check it out at least. Like that's weird to me. I want to go check it out. That curiosity.
Yeah.
That's like what you hear about in the Elkwoods. A lot of that bull coming in silent, like not bugling. Like you just hear like some footsteps, and you're like, wait a second, there's a bull coming in, and he's not like generally right, like coming in screaming his head off, whatever else. But like he's just curious. He's like, something's going on. I'm not used to this. I want
Yeah.
to come look. And a lot of bulls get killed that way.
Dude, you know the way I thought about it when this guy said that on this podcast? It was the Southern Outdoorsman podcast is where I heard it. So I want to give credit to I've been binging that one. That's all super south and southeast related, but they
Yeah.
have some really, really, really cool deer behavior stuff to learn from. That was Taylor Watkins, our boy over at Sniper Marine, that put me onto that one. And dude, the first thing I thought of when they mentioned that was them getting curious was like, you're in high school, dude, and you hear a fight break out in the hallway. What does everybody do? They run
Come
to the
running.
doorway to see what's going on. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that deer did. He ran to go see what the heck was going on. He just didn't run out in the hallway where I could get a shot at him. But it's cool, those little instances there. And I'm probably the most ADD impatient bow hunter in existence. Where if I could go like hunt them like I hunt turkeys type of deal, I'd much rather do that and not go
Yeah.
sit all day and be patient. It's very hard for me to do that, but nonetheless, man, I'm so ate up with it. I'm actually going out tomorrow morning, and we're gonna get this sucker uploaded for the folks because this is a banger episode with Shuffield as always. But I think with that, dude, do we have everything else, or should we just get into Shuffield? Because I'm gonna start talking bow hunting for the
I was
entire
gonna say, let's rip into the show because it's a great one.
It is. Well, folks, without further ado, Mr. Spencer Shuffield, the U.S. Open champion.
Remember this, Spencer? We fished together on Champlain.
Lake Champlain,
Yeah,
Mounts
man.
Bay, all day.
They banged
You had
it.
Brian Partak the next day.
That's right. You got it, dude.
Yep.
You
Yep.
got
It was
man.
fun.
That was a good time. I learned a lot.
Yep.
Learned a ton.
It was a good day. That was
Is
good
this
old days.
Fourth, fifth time on the show? You've been on
Yeah,
a
he's
few
been on.
times now, man.
Third, I think.
Is it
Third
third?
or fourth. Mm-hmm.
I
You had
could've
me on
sworn
with
it.
Drew last year.
Yeah,
That's right.
I was still. That's still in our top 5, like most listened
Yeah.
to shows.
Yeah, that was a good show. Anytime you got Drew on, it's good because dude, that guy can just, I don't know. I love Drew. He's
I don't
probably
think
my best
anybody
friend
does
out there
like
on
it,
tour.
yeah.
Yeah. He uses words, man, like these fancy words. I'm like, dang, man, I'm like talking to my wife.
Well, don't sell yourself short, dude. You might not
Yeah.
have the Drew Gill fancy words, but you can damn freaking hammer them, man. So
He's just,
people tune
yeah.
in, that's for sure.
I don't have to do anything else but fish. That's it.
That's all that matters. That's all
First
people
time
want
I've
to
ever
hear.
wore ear pods in my ears. This thing's freaking feel weird, man. I'm gonna be messing with them the whole dang time. I don't even own a set.
That was so
I
good.
love it. I love it. Well, dude, you can you hear us okay? Good
Yeah,
on
I
your
hear you
end?
great. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, you ready to rock?
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, we're already rolling, so we can just get right into it because we're with the champ, the U.S. Open champ, Mr. Spencer Shuffield. Dude, one, how does it feel? Has it sunk in yet? How you doing after your drive getting home this morning at 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah, gosh, man. I mean, winning that event is awesome. Like, that's what I went out there for the first time in 2022. I started really seeing the U.S. Open, things about it in probably 2020. I mean, I knew that it existed forever, but really started seeing it in social media around 2020. In 2021, I believe Roy Hawk won, and I had talked to Roy a couple of times before that, before he ever even won it in 21. I'm pretty sure he's the one that won it in 21. Don't quote me on it, but I think he is. But anyways, I won the title in 22 up there at St. Lawrence. And I've never been west of Oklahoma. And my wife travels with me full time. And I was like, let's go out there. I want to go west for one. I got an uncle that goes out there all the time, elk hunting stuff. He's like, oh man, it's so beautiful out here. And I just wanted to see it. So I was like, let's go out there. I can fish the U.S. Open while we're out there, and we'll make a vacation out of it. And so we went, and I showed up and fished that tournament there on Lake Mohave in 22, which was the first year they had it there. And golly, man, I didn't realize I was in for a treat like that. That place is probably one of the best smallmouth fisheries I've ever launched a boat in that's not connected to the Great Lakes in any way. I mean, it is incredible. and out in the middle of a dang desert. You know, you would never expect that. But I've been hooked ever since. I mean, Billy Egan, his tournament director, and him and all of his staff run an incredible tournament trail out there. But the U.S. Open, when I went to the meeting and they were doing the inductees into their Hall of Fame thing, and seeing this giant trophy that's like 3 times the size of a Bassmaster Classic trophy, and it's got all the previous winners on a plaque, all, you know, lined up down through there like that. You got Aaron Martins and Roy Hawk and John Murray and Mike Folkstead and just Don Avino and just some of these names that you read about in magazines when you were, you know, a kid and stuff. And I was like, man, I got to get my name on that trophy, you know. And then I finished it in 22, obviously, and finished second. And that's been on my hit list ever since.
Yeah. I don't know how, but we're gonna get our name on that there trophy. Yeah, you did. You done did it.
I can't believe it. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, I think we, at least certainly, I've always thought it was a matter of time. Like, it was like, okay, I've seen him personally. I've seen you fish for smallmouth on Champlain, drew you as a co-angler. And then it was like, you came out here for the first one on Mohave, finished second. And I'm like, okay, well, give him a couple of years. He'll get there. he's going to pop one. Just wait.
Yeah. Rattle off your U.S. Open resume again for the folks that.
Yeah. So in 22, I finished second. And, that one really left a bad taste in my mouth just because of I didn't know anything about Mohave, and there wasn't really a whole lot of history there other than when they were spawning. And I seen, you know, it was taking 23 to 28 pounds even to win some of them. But I learned real quick when I got on YouTube and did a search on Lake Mohave that it had a pretty healthy population of smallmouth in it. And then when I got there and actually fished it for a day, I was like, this is like legit a smallmouth fishery. And, you know, I was told like 15, 16 pounds a day, you were a superhero at that place that time of year. But the deal is they had never been scoped. And that's why 15 pounds was a huge bag then. I feel like that was probably the first time they'd ever really been scoped is that year I went and Bertrand won. And, man, it was incredible. You could run around and catch 4-pounders like it was going out of style. And I caught like 19 that first day in about 45 minutes and just kind of hung out there around the ramp the rest of the day. Still fished, but didn't go fishing. And he ended up catching 24 that first day. And I was like, oh, crap. I didn't even know he was in the tournament, you know. And I knew when I saw Bertrand was leading, and he's a scoper and a smallmouth fisherman, and he had 24 pounds, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to win. I told my wife after that first day, I said, I'm going to end up finishing second in this darn thing. She said, why? I said, because Bertrand's leading it. He's a smallmouth guy, and I guarantee he's the only other guy in this thing scoping. And so I went out the next 2 days and gave him everything I had, and I caught 22 each of the next 2 days, and he ended up beating me by like 1 pound 7 ounces. So I left a really bad taste in my mouth knowing what I left out there the first day. And thinking that I didn't realize just how good I was really on them after I only spent 2 days on the water practicing for that event. And then when I got out there in the tournament, realized, oh man, dude, I could run around all over this place and just whack these good ones. It left a bad taste in my mouth. So second year I went back was in 23. That was when Kyle Grover won. Same deal, man. I was like just ounces behind him going into the last day, finished I was in second going into the last day and just had a horrible day 3. The wind blew 20 miles an hour. It was the worst I've ever seen it. They didn't bite at all. I don't know if it was pressure or what, but I ended up only catching 12 pounds and fell back to third and finished third in that one. And then last year I went back out there and just got outfished. I mean, Brian Smith caught almost 23 pounds the first 2 days, and then he caught 19 the second. He ended up beating me by like 1.5 pounds as well. But last year was incredible. They bit really good again. And I went out there this year and it was lights out again. I mean, you could just go around and wear them out. So, and we got it done. Feels good, you know.
I like how you say fall all the way down to third. I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah. But I mean, only having 12 pounds, it was rough because the wind blew so hard that last day, that third day, the second year I went. It was really tough to catch them.
That's crazy, dude.
So I guess this is a good question just because you've seen the progression now. In my opinion, the West has always lagged, especially being out here in electronics, specifically scoping, right? In my opinion, it has caught up more significantly now. What's your take being in that event from 2021 or 2022 until now? How have you seen that? Have you seen more pressure from guys out? Like, what does it look like on the water in that event? I mean, it's a big event, right? A lot of guys on that fishery at a time.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about Mojave, man, is it it is. I mean, there's not a lot of places I've never fished anywhere out west. Mojave's it. That's it. So I don't have anything to go off of. I know Clear Lake is supposedly insane. Shasta is really good. Uh, but I'm just going to tell you, Mojave is exceptional.
I
I
love
mean,
that place.
dude, I mean, you know, the other than that one day, the second year I went there, I only caught 12 pounds. That's the only day I've ever spent on that place that I've had under 19 3/4. Um,
Wow.
and every single day, except that day that I had 12 pounds, I've caught another 18-pound limit of largemouth, you know, fishing as well, as I'm catching smallmouth. It's got such a good population of 3.5 pound largemouth and 3 3/4 pound smallmouth. Um, and you can catch them both shallow and deep. Like I catch largemouth this past time we went. I caught multiple largemouth in 50 feet of water. You could go shallow and throw a big topwater or a chatterbait or a swim bait. You can catch 3 to 3.5 pound largemouth up on the bank and occasionally a big smallmouth for throwing a jerkbait. So I feel like a lot of guys just fish their strengths there because there's so many quality fish there that you can catch them pretty much doing whatever you want. But I did notice this year there was a whole lot more guys out scoping than normal. The deal is about Mojave is it has an incredible striper population, and there is some really big ones in there. But most what I've learned about Mojave, the only time you really see the big ones is early in the morning and late in the afternoon. And for the most part, the really big ones stay out over the deeper channel, the way deeper water, the out over 70 to 100 feet of water suspended with bait. Um, but it has a big population of 3 to 5 pound stripers in it because you catch them when you throw a bait that they'll bite, and they relate to the bottom, those smaller stripers, just like the smallmouth. And it has a billion carp in it. So it takes a lot of time on that place and a lot of fish catches to really start to learn what you're looking for out there swimming on the bottom. I will see on average on that lake in a day, other than early in the morning, but for the rest of the day, let's say from 9:30 till the time I check in, I will probably see 300 fish per smallmouth I actually see of some sort, whether it's catfish, carp, or little stripers. But the smallmouth are as obvious as all get out when you see them. The way they're trucking across the bottom, how they're set up, I mean, they're constantly moving from one, but so are the carp and the stripers. But you can just tell the demeanor is completely different with the smallmouth. It's like they're swimming with intention. Everything else is just out there lollygagging around. And once I figured that out last year, really, is when it made it a lot easier. And I just don't think a lot of those guys out there have figured that out yet because it's not a place that WON Bass goes a lot other than just for the U.S. Open. It's kind of out of the way from the rest of the tournaments. I mean, they go to Havasu, but most of their tournaments are in California. So I just don't think it really gets any pressure other than the week before the U.S. Open. That's it, honestly.
I've got a good friend that lives fairly close there to Mojave, and he made this statement one time. And I think it's true for a lot of Western lakes, and something that I really appreciate about these Western lakes that are more remote and out in the middle of nowhere, like Mojave is in the desert, is they get protected, in my opinion, from pressure because they're A, hard to get to, and B, a lot of times they'll have something like the wind that blows like a son of a gun on that place, right? And so it just doesn't get the pressure that we see in the eastern fisheries and other places. And so I totally agree. I mean, I think they don't see as much pressure as a lot of bodies of water.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely they don't seem like they get as much pressure out there. I mean, but they're not stupid. I mean, by day 3, because the U.S. Open has like I'm not positive. Or I am positive it's a long time. I'm not sure if it's 7 or 9 days, but they get like 7 or 9 days leading up to the tournament to practice. And I know a lot of them guys go out there for the full time. By day 3 of the tournament, they get pretty skittish. I mean, we had a day off this year in between day 1 and the last day because of the wind cancellation. And by 1 o'clock, a lot of the ones I threw at, they would start to it, and you could just tell. I mean, I don't know exactly what they're thinking, but by their body reaction to my stuff, it's like once they saw a bait and a weight together, and they got close enough, they turned, they went. It was like they knew that wasn't right. When you first roll up there, 3 days before tournament, dude, you catch every one of them. I mean, they'll run up to it and catch it before it gets to the bottom. You just see your weight stop. It's incredible. But by the last day of the tournament, they go to getting pretty smart. Like a lot of them swerve it. They come balling to it, and as soon as they see it, they're gone. And you're like, yeah, he's seen his buddies get caught, or he's been caught. Which is kind of hard to believe because they're all good ones out there. And you have to imagine if he gets caught, he's probably going to take him to the weigh-in. But maybe it was one caught in practice or something. I don't know.
So what do you do in that scenario when you see them dodge? Are you just moving on to the next one, or are you trying to come back with a different presentation?
Yeah, I mean, I only ever give one cast. That's it. I mean, I don't care if I know you don't know, but whether I feel like it's a 7-pounder or a 4-pounder, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm throwing to him one time. I know I've got it within his line of sight, and you can tell. If I know for a fact the fish has not seen my bait, I'll give him another cast. But if I know he's seen it and subconsciously made the decision not to eat it, he's not going to eat it if I throw it in the second time, in my opinion. So I'm just keep on trucking until I find the next one. I mean, I want to find those that are looking for something to eat. Because, I mean, you keep covering up water, you're going to put it in front of enough to catch them. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I look at it anyways out there.
Yeah.
Do you do that everywhere, Spencer, or is that just there? Like, will you keep throwing? Because, I mean, you hear guys chasing them down, right? You hear that.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that, or are you literally like handle one, I'm throwing it, and if I know he looked at it and he doesn't go, I'm moving on? I
don't ever chase them. No. Wow. I give them one cast. That's it. I mean, that's all they're getting from me, one cast, unless I know unless I made a bad cast and I know he probably didn't see my bait, or I threw out there and I can tell like sometimes you get bad wind or you just kind of, you might make a bad cast or something. You can tell he felt its presence but didn't exactly get the lock eyes with it. Then I'll give that fish another cast. Or if he acted like he got really hot for it, and I just kind of get this sense that he needs one more shot, then I might throw it to him again. But other than that, it's one cast. If I know he's seen it and he made that decision himself not to eat it, I'm going to the next 100%. I forget about that fish. I never even saw it.
Man, that's awesome. Fishing. That's efficient derby fishing.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're for smallmouth, that is, I mean, I'm not always going from fish to fish when I'm scoping. I mean, 50% of the time I'm scoping, I'm using it just to throw at targets as far as like stumps or brush or edges of grass or, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But when I'm truly out there scoping, going from fish to fish, it's one cast. That's all they're getting.
Are you willing to disclose what bait you were throwing at them?
Yeah, I was catching them all on a Z-Man jerk shed and the Emo Kamushi, G-Crack Emo Kamushi. That's what I caught every fish I weighed in on, was on those.
Wow.
That's like the little bug-looking G-Crack dice, right?
The Emo Kamushi isn't like just a ball or a square. It's actually like
almost like a TRD almost looking
body. Yeah, it's actually got like something that is alive shape to it with all the fuzz off of it, But man, I honestly don't know if I mean, I know it matters, but if one really wants to buy it, I don't think it matters if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? I caught them on everything. Caught them on a sniper jig, caught them on a plain Ned, caught them on a minnow, caught them on a spy bait, a little swim bait, everything. I mean, it's just, a drop shot is, for me, most time it's almost 100% bite to land ratio. So that's why I go with a drop shot. I mean, pretty much if he bites my drop shot, he's going to make it into the boat, and that's just why I go with that.
What's your go-to drop shot hook?
Well, I have always used the black nickel Gamakatsu size 2 and 4 drop shot split shot hook. Not the Aaron Martin's one.
Mhm.
Just the regular drop shot split shot hook. And it's always been great. You know, maybe you lose one fish a day, but me and Drew Gill was talking about it here, I don't know, a week or so ago about the solo technique. And he kind of, and I've used a lot of the VMC redline hooks, especially the Nico hook and stuff like that. But he was telling me about their drop shot hook. And so I ordered some and I just tied one on while I was out there in practice. And I was going through a few different things. I was threading the Emo Kamushi up on a hook, you know, like a size 1 rebar hook and trying it like that and other stuff. And then I tried that VMC one. And dude, I'm legit in 4 days of using that hook, 2 days of practice, 2 days in turn. I never stuck a bass that come off. So I'm like sold on the VMC red line drop shot hook now.
That thing's
100%
nasty.
sold. Yeah, I've
Hmm.
never used it
I haven't
before
used
until
that.
this event. Yeah, I'm 100%. I'm sold on it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm with you on that one. I was with the size 1 BKK had the DSS, which is still a really good drop shot hook in my opinion,
Yep.
but I got sold on that red line pretty quick too. But yeah, it's I feel like VMC is not one that I've always used a lot, but that new red line series
Yeah.
seems to be pretty badass.
Yeah.
Kind of across the
Yeah,
board.
I like
I
it.
haven't tried the flipping
I,
stuff yet.
It
I'm a
just
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say I've been I've never really used or messed with some of these fancier hook brands. I'm the same way. I mean, my drop shot hook's that exact hook. I generally run it in a size 1 or size 2, the Gamakatsu split shot drop shot one, black nickel. And then I've used a lot of the redline stuff though recently, like just in general, like a wacky rig hook and just different things. And
Mhm.
I dig it. Like they're doing the right stuff.
Yeah, that all their stuff is like legit now. Like you're talking about the Nico hook. They got the one that's got the mono keepers come off of it like that. I love that hook as well. Uh, but they just got some really cool stuff coming out. I see they got the new Demiki jig head minnow hook and jig
Mm.
head, which
Mhm.
if you use Z-Man a lot, which I do, that's my favorite minnow, the jerk shad, I've been using their for smallmouth, in my opinion, it didn't matter at first, but now it does. I don't like a jig head that's real shiny. I want one that's kind of like a dull color or matte finish or
Mm.
something like that, not one that reflects a lot of light. Um, and they've got their tungsten swim bait ball head, BMC does, and it's got an incredible little keeper thing on the shank of the hook, but it's not real good for like a last tech. So when I'm using a last tech, I have to still use the queen's head. And, you know, the queen's jig head's got the prong that sticks out on the back of it, like the little metal keeper. And that holds that last tech up so good. But when
Mhm.
that last tech gets hot, it's so easy for it to slide up and down your hook if it doesn't have that sharp keeper on the backside of it. Well, now I see BMC finally come out with one like that, and it's got the eyeballs and the head's
Mhm.
more of a dull lead kind of finish. So I'm really pumped about it. Can't find them anywhere right now. They're all still coming soon, but
Mhm.
that's going to be my new minnow head for sure. I can just tell by looking at it, it's going to be legit.
When it's got the eye of the or not the eye, the line tie is like at a 45 versus the 90 too,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
which definitely
Yep.
changes things a little bit too for
Yeah.
rolling and all that stuff. But
There
yeah,
was
it's
one other thing they come out. Oh, they got the jig head that's got the little prop on the hook shank too,
I
kind
haven't
of
seen that.
like a spy bait type
Oh, got it.
deal, but you can
Got it.
put a swim bait on it. Yeah,
Yep.
Mega Bass had come out at the Oshakira head or whatever, and now
yeah,
BMCLC's got one. I'm kind of excited about that because I mean, dude, I caught a lot of fish using that thing back in the day.
that
Mhm.
is the old fail safe. Is that Okashira head? You put that and a 2.8 on it. It's just like,
Yep.
you might not catch big ones, but you're gonna catch a limit typically
Yeah.
with that sucker on there.
Spotted bass, love that thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool,
But
man.
They don't make it very heavy though, right? Like that original
No.
one. It's always like 1/8
mm-mm,
ounce or something.
super light. But I think BMC is going to make it up to like 3/8
Okay.
Whew.
or quarter, anyways.
Yeah, they
So
need a
it should be
quarter in
pretty
it,
good.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Pretty wicked. Well, dude, so you mentioned how like the window for practice was like 7 to 9 days, something like that, and how you had 2 days for practice. And so I guess with that, how much planning did you have prior to even leaving the house to go up to Mojave? And then how did you prioritize your practice once you got there?
Well, I mean, when I first went to Mojave in 22, I allowed myself 4 days. That's what I allowed myself.
Mm.
Day one, I rolled up, got out there at daylight, had no clue what to expect. Expected it to not be very good, honestly. I was out there more for the scenery and the ride back through Colorado. But
Yeah.
I wanted to fish tournament. I was out there, say I fished the U.S. Open at least once. Got out there on the water, and dude, within an hour, I was like, "Oh man, this place is special, like real special." Like I said, you tell they've never been scoped before. It was unbelievable. Um, and so I ended up in that 4 days of practice. I fished the entire first day of practice and caught like 6 limits that weighed over 20 pounds and hadn't even looked at a fraction of the lake. I just couldn't quit catching them because it was so dang good. It was just so good. And so the next day I took off, and me and my wife, we went to see the Hoover Dam, Lake Mead.
Mhm.
I said, well, I caught them so dang good today. I can afford to take off a day of practice, and we'll go. Cause we're out here kind of for vacation anyways. And so we went and did that. And then day three, I went back out and looked at another area of the lake, kind of more down around the bowl, the basin area, and just plumb insanity again. And the last day of practice, I only went out for half a day. And then when I went back on year two, I allowed myself 2 days. And I spent both days on the water, but they were horrible, horrible windy practice days. Didn't really get to do much, but the few places I checked, I caught some fish. But that year was just off. I don't know what the deal was. It was off. Water was 10 degrees colder than I've ever seen it there. That's that year they had that hurricane come through. It was just, it wasn't good. It was very, very tough. They would swerve everything you threw at them. And last year I spent a day and a half. It was incredible. And this year I spent 2 days. I just feel like, I already know my game plan after going there kind of the first year, and then I'm spending 3 days of the tournament every year also. So I'm getting at least, 5 to 6 days every year we go there on the water, and this is my fourth year there. So I've had basically 25 days there on that place. I already got a game plan. I know I'm going to scope big smallmouth. I know the areas I'm going to do it in, and I feel like I love catching them so much that if I get out there, I'm going to get to catching them and not realizing that I'm catching too many. And I just feel like I hurt myself more than anything. So I don't want to really allow myself more than 2 days,
Hmm.
really. I enjoy reeling them big brown suckers in too much. I'm not gonna shake them off, and I dang sure ain't putting a drop shot with a spring lock or any of that, and just feel them swimming around with it. Because I mean, in my opinion, once you get them to bite, you might as well catch them anyways. I think maybe it's different for largemouth if you're catching them on isolated pieces of target or shake them off on like a lay down or a dock or something. But them smallmouth, once you get them to bite, you might as well just reel them in.
Yeah.
My
Totally.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now here's a question. You've done this now 4 years, and it's a good time frame for touring pros because it's in that October. Most of the regular season stuff is wrapped up. Um, so number one, is this a long-term thing for you? Do you see yourself continuing as much as you can? And then number two would be, what have you learned maybe about Mojave that you've taken back east at all, if any of that has ever come about?
I definitely don't see myself missing any U.S. Opens in the near future. I mean, dude, ever since 2022, that has been the tournament I have looked forward to at the end of the year. I said it when we were at the award ceremony the night I won. Uh, After we all chilled and they had that award ceremony. I said there like,
Yeah.
uh, half my tackle warehouse orders in a year is legit for the U.S. Open. Like I'm ordering all kinds of like special little creature
Mhm.
looking stuff, all kinds of stuff I can just go through on a drop shot and see how they react to it, things like that. Bunch of different little finesse type stuff for out there, and a lot of it's done me good. Um, but dude, I look so forward to that tournament now that I've won it. And I said this as well. I mean, obviously, I would love to go out there and win it again next year, and the next, and the next, and the next. But I'm not a greedy person. Now that I've won it once, I honestly, my feelings would not be hurt if I fished 25 more of them and never won another one. I just wanted to say I won the U.S. Open one time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out there and try and win it.
I was going to say, you're not going to go bend over. You're going to
No, absolutely not. But if I go finish second next year, I'm not going to be upset about it because I got that trophy sitting right over there, and it's going to be with me forever. My name's going to be on that big trophy at every event that they have from now till the end of time. Dude, it's just an incredible feeling. That's all I was chasing after. It's just meant so much to me ever since I went out there and fished at 22 and seen all those names and felt the weight of that tournament and what it meant to those guys out there, and knowing that, dang, these guys out east don't realize how big this tournament really is. Like they don't realize it yet. I mean, I know some of them might understand it, but they don't realize how big this tournament really is. And ever since I realized that, like, I was like, this is my tournament. This is the tournament. If I had one tournament I could win, I would pick the U.S. Open over a Red Crest, the Bassmasters Classic. Wow. The U.S. Open's what I want to win. And to actually go and accomplish that, dude, I mean, it's incredible for me. I mean, it's like a goal accomplished. You know, I'm not out here to break records and, you know, be the next Kevin Van Dam. I've got goals that I set. Some of them, you know, I set when I started. Some of them come about as I fish longer. But I had basically two main goals that I set for myself when I started fishing. I wanted to win an AOI. I wanted to win a national championship. I did that when I won the title. I haven't yet won an Angler of the Year, but I'm going to eventually. And then after I fished U.S. Open, that was another goal I added to I wanted on my resume, and now I've accomplished that. So I've got an Angler of the Year I want to win. After that, I may fish 20 more years. I may fish one more year and, you know, be done. I don't know. I mean, I love reeling them in. You know, the fact that I can do this and support a family and we get to do the things we get to do, because, you know, I got a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old, and it's just to be able to support them and get to do something I love and be the best version of myself. I just don't, I mean, I don't take it for granted, you know, and I try and take really good care of my money, trying to set myself up to where if I want to retire when I'm 50, I can. I'm 36 now, but I don't want to do this till I'm 80 years old. I may do it till I'm 80, but it'd be because I'm still got that burn desire. I don't want to have to do it till I'm 80.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I may still be doing it when I'm 80, but I don't want to be forced to do it when I'm 80 or 70, even for that matter. You know, my dad did it till he was 62, and you know, he quit and went to work mowing lawns. I don't want to do that, you know. So I just, you know, dude, I enjoy doing it, and winning the U.S. Open meant incredible. Just, it was a huge weight lifted off my shoulder when I won that out there. The emotion of winning that tournament, knowing that that was something I've really been after since 22. Dude, it's a dream come true. It really is. Biggest tournament I've ever won, 100% to me. You know.
Wow,
love
that's
that,
so
dude.
cool, man.
Yeah. Is it safe to say then retirement for you looks like you're going to be moving to Mojave?
Yeah. I mean, Mojave's incredible. 100%. That place is incredible. I would put it top 3 or, well, Mojave would be top 2 in fisheries I've fished that are bigger bodies of water outside the Great Lakes. Obviously, when if I ever get to retire and I move somewhere just for fishing, it's going to be Grand Traverse Bay. It's going to be Sturgeon Bay, Lake Ontario, Henderson Bay, St. Lawrence. Come on. You know what I mean?
There's no comparison. There's no, we thought we had a show on this.
No.
Yeah,
Great. And Traverse, which I'm sure there are people listening to this are going to want to cut my throat, but there's nowhere better than Grand Traverse. I'm just going to tell you. Traverse is where it's at. And if I had one place I could live, that's where it's going to be. I mean, everywhere around there is unbelievable. I have yet to go to a lake around Traverse that is not off the charts. It's insane.
Oh boy. We'll have to send some screenshots, some DMs after this show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're coming.
But
Oh, I love it though. I love the honesty, man. And with that, I'm really curious your take and your point of view on this. You mentioned there's a bunch of guys out east that don't realize the magnitude of the U.S. Open because
yeah,
I think guys that like you mentioned that have been around the block, the older generation that's kind of coming through, that I think they understand the magnitude of the US Open. I think maybe a little of that got lost in translation throughout COVID, maybe. I don't know what
hmm
caused that gap, but I see what you mean on it. And I guess from the angler perspective, what do you think needs to happen for more guys to the East to understand that magnitude or for that event to even get bigger?
they just got to go fish it. You fish it one time, you understand. I mean, that's all it is. You look at it and think it's a hopped up Toyota Series championship or whatever, but you go fish it one time, you're like, this tournament is legit. Like it's the payday's incredible to begin with as well. I mean, but it's not just that. It's just the weight of that event and what surrounds it. I don't even know how to explain it. You just have to go fish it. Um,
Yeah.
I got Drew talked into going next year. I'm excited to see him out there. I'm sure he'll probably win his first year out there. But
So that might backfire on you, man.
it's like I said, I won it once. That was what I was after. It doesn't matter to me if I ever win it again. I mean, obviously, I would love to win that thing 10 more times, but
Yeah.
once is enough. I mean, that was the main deal for me. But it's I don't know. Like I said, they just have to go fish it. I mean, I wish there was like live on the water coverage. I wish some team like that MLF has their live coverage team or Bass's live coverage team, they would come out there and they would do some on the water type stuff. I know we've got some social media guys that started going. One of my guys that works for a lot of my sponsors, he's got to where he's come the last couple of years and really done most of the, Bass 365 has done most of their social media for them over the last couple of years out there, and he does an incredible job. But it could definitely be a lot bigger in the social media aspect as far as having some live coverage besides just watching the weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it kind of makes it the mystique of the desert. I mean, nowadays, I guess with what's it called? Elon's deal.
Oh, Starlink.
Starlink, right? You could do some stuff maybe on the water, but like, man, when we had our Super 60 event there, there's no service, right? Like,
No,
we
there's
had to
really
enter
not.
fish in. And so like
Yep.
it's a hard place to cover because of the service aspect, which is kind of neat. But at the same time, I agree. I love, or at least live updates or something, from a
Yep.
live perspective.
Yeah, I was thinking that after I said that too. I was like, yeah, but there's no service really on Mojave. Like if you got in a bind out there and had to call somebody, good luck.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're out there.
yeah, you are pretty much. But
You sat phone,
um,
basically.
yeah, but the tournament itself is incredible. It's incredible. I don't care if they go to Meade, Havasu, wherever. I'm going to fish U.S. Open every year Lord willing, I'm going to be there. Wherever they have it.
That's awesome, dude.
I love it.
With that, with how you won, and obviously an incredible resume of finishes so far at the U.S. Open, I'm curious your take on it because I think obviously with the finishes you have, you're learning to you've got Mojave understood. You really I think
Yep.
jive obviously with the lake, but what we do here with Serious Angler, we have the Amped Outdoors electric take, and it's our favorite question to ask throughout the show because it's a bold question, hoping for a bold answer. And that is, it's not really that bold, but asking you as somebody that has done so well on Mojave, if next year they went and said, "Hey, there's no technology on this fishery," how are you going to go then and approach Mojave to try to win next year?
Um, and you want a bold answer. If they took live scope away, I think it would make us guys that have been using scope a whole lot more dangerous.
Oh,
Because then I think it would only probably take 15 a day to win, and I could catch 18 with my eyes closed there very easily. It's just the live scope's what helps you get over 20. But
Mhm.
you can catch 3 3/4 pounders like they're going out of style after you kind of understood how they set up there. There's so many easy places and targets that you can pull up on and catch 370, 380, 375, 390, and then go to the next one. Same thing. You know what I mean? But when you get
Yeah.
out there with scope, I can kind of search around for that just a little bit better caliber. And I
Mhm.
can kind of avoid a lot of them 370 and 380s. But you take scope away, the guys that's been catching scope is really about to catch them. To the rest of the field is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like you're gonna still have all them 10 and 12 pound bags, but 15 would be the new 18, and 17 or 18 would be like 22 now, in my
Mm.
opinion. And if you've already kind of understand the hobby with scope now, you're gonna be able to really catch 18's not going to be that big of a problem without it at all. So I just think they would even separate us more if they took it away there. Because I mean, as it sits now, I mean, guys, just if they would just go out there and learn it, everybody would be able to catch 18, 19 pounds in that event. Everybody.
Wow. I love that
I
line
like it.
where it's take the scope away and Spence is just like, hold my beer.
No, it's
Just wait.
it's just like on those smallmouth on that place, because I understand those smallmouth there now. So I mean, I would be able to run around and catch them really good without scope. And I mean, I've got so dang many waypoints on that place now. I was looking at it the other day. I pulled up one. It was like 1,782. I was like, golly, I've got that many waypoints on this place, and I'm not putting
Sheesh.
them on just where I got a bot. I'm putting it on stuff where I know there's going to be one sitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
so it's yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting. I thought about that on the ride home. I really did. I thought that exact question you asked. What if they took scope away out here? You know, I thought, for one, the weights are going to drop substantially,
Mhm.
and the guys that already understand it with scope would definitely be able to catch 18 without it. And then I think it would still be the same guys, in
Yeah.
my opinion. It would still be the exact same guys.
So, I mean, you bring up an interesting point, like the guys that understand it with scope. I mean, this has been and I'm just going to say my opinion on all this stuff right now is like what I have loved about scope. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love throwing at a fish and catching it on scope. But
Hmm.
what I have loved the most out of all of it, and I think it's what we're after as anglers and as hunters with everything, is the learning aspect of it. Like you were able to break down that body of water in 2 days, the first time you were there, and see where those fish set up and understand what they were doing to get those better than average bites to then proceed to have a great finish. I think that part of it is super interesting to me as we see these changes in organizations and how things are getting changed around with electronics. The learning side of that, you can then take that technology, utilize the learning, and you are set up on that body of water to do very, very well. You know, it's not as if you're not going to have quite the weights and those sorts of things, but it's an interesting side of it, right? Like that's the
Hmm.
draw to me is to understand that's a striper. Okay, here's the bigger than average bite setting up this way. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting point.
You
Yeah.
nail it on the head where it's when you take it, you use it, and you understand how to use that technology, and then you take that technology away. If you've taken the time to what you're saying, Deacon, of the learning, and not just look at it from, okay, there's a blob, I'm gonna throw it blob, and actually use it as a learning tool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Spencer, I'm sure this is hitting it on the head, but like you almost visualize your
Mm-hmm.
bait and your approach completely different now. Like you have a better field of view, I guess, if like when you're approaching a spot offshore and how you're working that bait, it's just a whole different level of understanding what you're doing now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everything I do is a little different now. You know, it's you just approach stuff differently now on the water than I did before. Um, More of a purpose per se,
Mm-hmm.
because now I understand why they're where they're at, why they're doing what they're doing, and whether that screen's got the lockbox on it or it's on, I'm constantly in my head, this is why this is happening, because I've done seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I'm not actually able to look at it at that moment in time, I'm still visualizing every bite I get in my head. This is probably how she was set up. And you just can kind of carry it along with you the whole time. Um, but you know, I mean, I love just like you said, dude. I freaking love catching, looking at them on the screen. It is an absolute ball. But I don't care if they banned it tomorrow. I mean, I didn't get live scope until 2019. You know, I was, let's see, that was 6 years ago. So I was 30. I'm 36 now. I've caught millions of bass before live scope was ever out. I mean, this year, my scope period was my worst period in every single event except Conrep. It
Wow.
was my absolute worst period. And I just, I, uh, not abandoned, but what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I didn't put my time in with scope this year as much as I normally would when it was allowed the entire day, because I was like, man, I'm only going to get to use it 2.5 hours. So I want to figure out just how to catch them. And during the periods without scope, I did better than 75% of the field. But I would get so far behind during the scope period that you just can't catch up without it. You know what I mean? I just never really dialed in the scope bot because I spent so much time just fishing, and I enjoyed it, you know, and I caught them in the events that scope wasn't a factor at all, you know, Potomac and Sag. I you know, made top 10 at Kentucky Lake, and scope was a pretty big factor there. That was another event where my scope period was one of my better periods each day. But um, I, you know, I don't really care whether they keep it or let it go. I just do. At the end of the day, I love going out there and reeling them in. And scope allows you to reel a lot more fish in usually. And I mean, in my opinion, my perception as a fisherman is that's what we were about, catching more fish.
Yeah.
You know, so I just don't see what the problem is. I mean, why guys are having a big issue with it. It's just get out there and learn it, man. I mean, if we're gonna have a problem with scope, then let's go back to throwing frogs and punching on mono. You know, don't be using braid if you get a problem with live scope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. Don't be using braid. You know,
Using it.
so,
Love
but
that.
Man, as we wrap kind of things up here, anything from this year's specific win, right? This year's event in itself, big learning takeaways from that event, like that you learned to take on into the future in your career.
from winning the U.S. Open,
Mm-hmm.
man, I mean, I don't know. I've had so many close calls, and I'm not talking about just the U.S. Open here. Obviously, I've had some really close ones there, but I've had some really, really close events, tournaments I thought I was going to win going in. Uh, this year, prime example, and last year at St. Lawrence River, I knew I was going to win the Bass Pro Tour event on St. Lawrence River last year. Knew I was going to win it going the last day. Hadn't even tried to catch them yet, and everything went wrong. Didn't know it was going to go wrong until that day. I mean, I had all kinds of issues. Saginaw Bay, same thing. Just knew I was going to win that last stage event, and just things didn't work out. Wasn't meant to be. And I mean, I've started seeing. I look back over my career, and there's so many tournaments. I mean, there's a lot of tournaments I've made top tens in, and I don't expect to go out and win the next day because I know that I've pretty much just really flew by the seat of my pants and just made it happen to get there. And I wasn't actually really on them. And then there's ones where I make the top 10. I'm like, I'm legit on them. And so I've had quite a few of those where I'm like, they're going to have to beat me today to keep me from winning. And every time that it doesn't work out, there's something that happened. It's like a supernatural. It's a God thing. Is what it is. It wasn't meant to be because it never happens any other time. And so I went out that last morning U.S. Open, and I've said this there too. You know, I never ever. Like I said, I'm not a greedy person. I never pray to win a tournament. I'm just like, Lord, let me be able to fish the very best of my ability today. That's all I ask. Let me be able to fish the best of my ability. But going into this U.S. Open is one that I really wanted, man. And I was like, Lord, please let me win this tournament. I was praying about it. I really prayed to win this event. I said, I want to win this tournament. I'll give you all the glory for it. And I went out that last morning, man. Everything just felt right. I wasn't stressed. I was like, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. And dude, and 45 minutes, I had that 2150. And I was like, I'm gonna win this one. This is it. I had a 19-year-old kid with me. Remember me a lot of when I had you, man, that day on Champlain. We had just an incredible time. We were high-fiving. I mean, it was like every one I threw at was a 4.25 or better. It was rolling. And I told him, I was like, dude, this is going to be it, because this is kind of the way the title went down when I went in. It just, everything was clicking. And I did it, man. I won. And so it was just, from now on, I'm not going to stress about it anymore, because I mean, I don't stress about it, but there's a lot of tournaments I get down about if I really feel like this is going to be the one, and then something happens and it don't work out that way. I get pretty bummed about it. But after seeing it for, I've won a lot of tournaments, okay, like local top stuff and some big local tournaments. But as far as our national trail, the title and the U.S. Open, when it's meant to be, there is nothing and no one that's going to stop it. And so from now on, man, that's if there's one I take away, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. My dad always told me that, but until you start to see it, it's hard to really fathom it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of is. So, yeah, it's
great.
It was special, man.
Yeah. When somebody's meant to be, you can't get that train off the tracks. It's going to happen one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just works out, dude. It's just your day.
Love it, man. Well, congrats again on the U.S. Open win. And we got one last question for you. And that is, I think honestly that the answer to this changes some almost by like every 6 months at this rate. Like, it's kind of cool to see how this, I feel like it's very actually difficult to name 5, but in your opinion, in your point of view, who do you think right now are the top 5 bass anglers in the world?
Oh, well, there's a bunch that's been in and out.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to name 5.
Wheeler is by far number 1, hands down. And man, and I'm not, and of course, I don't know if it's not that I feel like Wheeler is that much better. I honestly don't think he's that much better. I just think he works that much harder. I mean, I mean, it seems like he puts in his time. He pre-fishes. The dude just takes his time and puts in every event. And that's what makes him dominant, in my opinion. But he's really good, too. But I would go Wheeler number 1, hands down. I don't even think there's anybody close. Wow. Drew's incredible, obviously. Scope or no scope, it don't matter, dude. The guys can catch him without scope. If once you get to the elites in the Bass Pro Tour, it does not matter if you have scope or no scope. You're better than 99.9% of the rest of the fishermen in the world. Let's just face it. I mean, that's how you got there. Those guys are just incredible. But Wheeler, Gill, man, I would have to go with who just won Angler of the Year over there on the Elite 2 years in a row. Chris, he's obviously awesome. And obviously this Tucker kid's pretty dang good too, and Trey McKinney. I mean, they're good. And guys can say, oh, yeah, you take your scope away from them, they're not going to be good. Bull, dude. Bull.
Tucker just won.
Tucker just won that $500,000.
Now, if I could see that being an issue, but these kids obviously started fishing before they were 15 years old. Okay. Yeah. So they already had a great understanding of it before scope, and they've just gotten better since it's come out. They still already knew how to catch them, so it doesn't matter. They're incredible. Either way, they catch them with it, without it. I can tell you right now, you look at the AOI standings in bass this coming year, and it's probably going to look very similar to what it did this year, honestly. BPT is dang near the same every year. It didn't matter when they allowed it 3 periods or they only allowed it 1. It's almost the exact same every year. Within, just a few. Anybody's going to have a bad year every now and then. But for the most part, it's pretty much the dang same in the top 20 every year. But so, yeah, that probably my guys. Wheeler, Gill, McKinney, the Tucker kid won a couple this year, I guess.
He just won the
And
no forward facing ultimate angler championship
yeah,
too.
and he won another elite before then, didn't he?
Yeah, fork.
Yeah. Now I got to throw an old guy in there somewhere, but I don't know, man. There's got to be a few. Brian Thrift's incredible, obviously. I mean, seriously, before scope ever came out and it was all about triangulating, Thrift was dominant, dude. I mean, dominant. He really was. But now, since scope, it's allowed us all to find that stuff and understand what he was understanding before scope. You see, you know what I mean? It was just that was his gig, finding offshore brush piles and things. And he was really good fishing shallow too. But
yeah,
I
love that.
That would have to be my top 5 for sure.
I feel like it was like Thrifty and like Buddy Gross that made like side imaging cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was who do you think
Randy
started
Haynes,
that trend of like
Randy
putting
Haynes,
the time? Randy Haynes,
good.
Yeah.
Him and Lambert were really good. I mean, Lambert won Kentucky Lake, and he was a Pickwick hammer. Yeah, for sure. And I miss them days, man. Back in when I first got back out here, or shoot, way before then, before I went on that 4-year off I took back in 16 through 19 when I didn't fish any professionally on the tour. I can remember the last couple tournaments I fished on them ledge like Kentucky Lake and Pickwick. Dude, it was unbelievable. If you understood side scan, it was incredible. You find 50, 60, 70 schools a day of 100 to 300 fish in a school. It was unbelievable.
Oh,
you know, I think, man, if I'd had live scope back then, could you imagine?
Oh, no. No,
I would see him on side scan and just throw an orange buoy marker out there and then just cast within, 50 to 100 feet around that thing with drop shots and just maul them. But now with live scope, you see how them fish move and shift, and now I understand why I catch 3 or 4 in a row and I wouldn't get any more bites. You know what I mean? Now you understand they all run to the boat with the fish you got on a lot of times. They all follow him in. And you're like, well, I guess that's all that was there. No, there was a whole lot more of them there. It just takes them a while to get set back up. That's why I used to. You can pull back on a place 30 minutes to an hour later and catch another one because they got back up there.
Yeah.
You know? Right. So just cool to see all that stuff because growing up fishing with a father that fish for a living, I look back at things we did, crappie fishing or bass fishing. Now I got scope and I see that same thing happen. I'm like, that's why we didn't ever catch anymore back then. It's because we thought we caught all that was there, but it's because they all came to the boat with the second or third or even the first one you caught, and it took them a while to get back up there, and it's just cool to see all that now.
All that learning.
Yep.
Love it. Deke, you got anything else for Spence?
No, man. Really appreciate, as always, coming on. I know you had a long drive to get back and everything, so thanks for making it happen on a Sunday with us.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me on and everything. I always enjoy getting on here, and man, it's cool to be on here and talking about winning the U.S. Open.
Yeah, U.S. Open champ.
Gosh, man, unbelievable. I'm so thankful for it, man. So thankful for it.
Heck yeah, buddy. Well, we're thankful for you and appreciate, again, like Deacon said, appreciate the time. And you always got a seat here on the show. And congrats, champ. It's freaking awesome, man. Name's going to be on that trophy for forever now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Maybe it'll be on there again one day, but I'm gonna enjoy this one for a while. So I'm looking forward to my wife when we got home. 358 more days and we get to head back west.
Let's go.
So I'm looking forward to it.
If there was a DraftKings bet to have Spencer Shuffield's name again on that trophy, I would bet a lot of money that that's going to happen.
It's going to get tougher, though. I told somebody the other day that and it's nothing against the West guys because they're incredible fishermen. But if the guys from the East really start going out there and fishing, you start getting guys like the Tucker and the McKinney and the Drew Gill and say Jacob Wheeler wants to show up. It's going to get where it'll be tough to win one of them suckers for anybody. You know what I mean? Because they're in there, and them guys just always find a way to catch a little better caliber somehow. So
totally agree.
Yeah. Well, dude, appreciate the time, and we'll be talking to you here soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys. See y'all.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Seriously Western segment here at Serious Angler. Mr. Spencer Shuffield, U.S. Open champ. Dude, I mean, if it doesn't get you fired up to go out west and try to like go to Mojave, go to Havasu, go out to California, go to Oregon, whichever, like I don't know what does. I mean, he makes the point though of all these guys out east. Like, are we going to see more going out there to the U.S. Open after this? Like, because you saw Milliken fishing. Milliken, I think was
Mhm.
second or third in this event. So like
Yeah, I think second. Yeah.
it's getting more hype in that regard. But I don't know, man. What were your thoughts?
Awesome, man. Spencer's just, you know, high class guy to talk to and to
Fishing.
hear the way he talks about stuff. And so cool to hear his experience there. And I mean, the biggest takeaway that I took was like, to him, the history in that event and the chills, like, of that event, being there and winning that, like, were really big deal to him. I mean, saying that he'd rather win that than a Red Crest or a Classic,
It's
crazy,
huge. Yeah, it's huge.
crazy, right? So it's like, man, got to figure out how to get there. It's been on a bucket list for me for a long time, and like, need to just drop everything in the fall and make it happen with all these other championships going on.
Oh, there are championships going on, and then you had to compete with this $500,000 championship going on Gunnersville, and then you throw in bow hunting on top of
Right,
that, and it's
right.
like, holy smokes! We thought this was like the off season for anglers. Now it's just that
No,
the,
you're
the
right.
quote unquote off season keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter
Mhm.
because we're seeing trails that are starting earlier now, dude. Like going to Texas or Florida mid January versus starting in February.
Right.
It's kind of wild in that regard, seeing that progression. But it was a cool deal, winning 66 grand for first, but then also winning a $90,000 bass boat on top of that too is not too shabby.
No, not bad at all.
Not
Good
bad
good
at all.
payday for Spence.
Yeah. Well, for folks tuning in, we'll love your guys' feedback on this episode. We know that on Apple Podcasts, we know there's at least 3 to 4,000 of you guys that are listening to this podcast, and we only have like 180 something reviews. And so I'm challenging all of you to go leave us a rating and review. Please take 10 seconds of your day to go do so. It could even be a 1-star and tell us that we're ugly and we're stupid. I don't care what it is. We just love to see a rating and review, get honest feedback from you guys on our show, and helps us bring this show to more people to teach more about bass fishing, but also just have a good time doing it, as we always like to do here at Serious Angler. But man, what do the folks have to look forward, coming up for Mr. Deacon the rest of this fall?
Man, we've got a lot of shows planned on the Seriously Western side of things with kind of some of the Western tournament directors and what's going on out west for next year, and to kind of see some changes and some neat stuff coming down the pipeline is cool. For me, man, number one is Clear Lake Championship. Super excited for that, mid-November on the Clear Lake. Giant bass factory, right? So like, I just can't wait to see the kind of fish that come out
Yeah.
during that event. So looking forward to prepping and getting everything dialed in for that. And then the other thing I'm not going to say I'm 100% going to go do it, but it's something I'm toying with right now. All my hunting, for the most part, outside of bird hunting, is done, right? Like, I heavy loaded archery stuff because I knew about this October tournament and then my November tournament. So if I don't pick up some other tag in another Western state or something like that, I'm kind of leaning towards the idea. I haven't put this out
Flying
there.
to New York and joining me for both seasons. All right, go.
Now, that would be a blast. Great idea.
Yeah.
We could do that. That sounds like fun. We need to
Guest
figure
room's
that out.
open.
Oh man, here we go. What I thought about is like, I kind of had some ideas for I'm turning 30 in December, right? So like,
Yeah.
thought about like, okay, doing a fitness goal related to that, doing a trip, doing something related to finishing to being 30. But I'm like, and I'm not saying you have to live your life around those kinds of things, but 30 is a big, end of a decade, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, something that I haven't even really tried to do this year, but has happened is like, I caught my personal best largemouth and personal best spotted bass this year. Like, I live in a place with giant smallmouth or near world-class smallmouth.
Yeah.
Why not take a little time this fall and try and chase down a PB smallmouth as well and do the trifecta in a year? That'd be kind of neat to do.
That would be pretty badass, dude.
So, anyways, something I've been thinking about. We'll see.
Yeah, because that that largemouth one's gonna be hard to beat. That's for damn sure.
Oh man, in a derb
But,
too.
that'd be sick, dude. Be cool to follow along with that and see how that progresses for you. But anything else for the folks?
No, sir.
Do you have anything else for the folks? My wife says no. She came down to do laundry.
I was so confused. Like,
yeah.
did you not hear me?
There's Spencer back in the log down below. But now I think it's gonna wrap it up, folks. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.